Welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about why it's not necessarily easier to eat healthy or raw or whatever when you work from home or when you are alone. So some people think that it's easier if you didn't have a partner who ate differently than you, or if you worked from home, you'd be able to be healthy. We're going to chat about that in this video. Thank you again so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. I deeply appreciate you. Thankful for you taking the time to share with me. And also, thank you for supporting us by grabbing the 2025 Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, which ends tomorrow. You have 1 day left. It ends tomorrow. So go grab it now. If you haven't yet, if you've been thinking about it, get it now. The link is in the description box below. You're getting over $1,000 of brand new, never before released raw vegan content. It's oil-free, it's all raw, it's all yours for $50. You're getting my brand new raw vegan sushi ebook so you can roll up some delicious new sushi recipes. There's sauces and sprinkles and dips and pastes and ferments and salads and all kinds of stuff. Anything to do with sushi is in this ebook. So there's 160 recipes. You get it when you buy the bundle. You also get Make It Raw Volume 4 that has 28 recipes, including the black licorice recipe from Chef AJ. That is in that book. There's the cheesy tomatoes in there too. There's so many delicious recipes in this one. You get that when you buy the bundle. You get Nate's new cracker ebook. You get Chris Kendall's myth-busting ebook. You get Raw Chef Yin's delicious Chinese raw vegan takeout. There's like fortune cookies in there as well. It's so good. You want to go grab this bundle if you haven't yet. If you're into raw food, even if you aren't all raw, grab the bundle. $50 gets you all our brand new content right now, but it ends tomorrow. This is your last chance to get it this weekend. Once you buy the bundle, you have until June 30th to download the content. Once you download the content, it's yours forever, but you have until June 30th to do so. So go buy the bundle, take 5 to 10 minutes, download the content, and it's yours forever, and you get to enjoy all the delicious new recipes. So please go check it out before it's over tomorrow. So let's chat about why I think that it's not easier to choose healthy things when you work from home, or if you didn't have a partner who ate differently than you, or you didn't have family that ate differently than you. Why I don't think that it's easier working from home. So long time ago, I was working at the health food store, and I thought that I would be able to do raw if I just quit my job and I was working on my photography full time. I would have so much time. I would be at home. I'd be able to do it. It would be so much easier. It was not. The thing is, for some people it might be. Yes, granted, for some people it might be. It might seem like it would be easier, but it's not easier because it's not your habit. You gotta build the habit, regardless if you have a 9 to 5, regardless if you work shift swings, regardless if you're self-employed, regardless of what your partner eats, what your family eats, what your friends are eating. You have to start making these choices in any situation. It's not easier in the summer than the winter. Some people think it's easier to eat raw, and yes, maybe for some it is, but for the most part, it's not, because you've got birthdays and vacation and road trips and camping and patios, and it can be harder in the summertime. You know, even though there's more fresh food available, there's also all this other stuff that's available too, right? So it's all up here. It's all in the mindset. If you want it to be easy, it will be easier. Not saying that it'll be a breeze, but it's easier when you believe it's easy. And if you think it's going to be easier when you work from home, you can do that. But it can also be easier when you work a 9 to 5. Something that I noticed is when I quit my job and I started working my photography full time, I found it incredibly difficult to choose healthy foods because I was at home, because I could eat whatever I wanted, because I didn't have lunch breaks. I didn't schedule myself in. I didn't take the time to plan my meals. I would wing it more often than not. I would be working for hours and hours and hours and be like, oh, I haven't eaten. I'm starving. Oh, I don't want to make anything. I'm just going to go to the store. I'm going to order something or whatever. It was so much harder for me to choose healthy when I was working for myself at home than it was when I was working at the health food store, even though I wasn't actually eating healthy there either. But it was a little easier because I had to make my lunch. It was a little easier because I had people watching me. So sometimes I would choose healthier just because they were watching. And that's another thing about your family members or people you live with. Sometimes it's easier when there's other people around, even if they're not eating the same thing that you are. It's easier because they're watching you. So I found when I had a partner before Nate, he didn't eat nearly anywhere near what I eat. He ate everything and anything. And I noticed that it was easier to choose raw when he was around, even though I chose it anyways. But I found it a little easier because he was watching. And so I used that as motivation to keep choosing the raw because I was like, well, I'm doing the raw. And that's what I'm doing because that's what I do. And it was just a lot easier to do it. And I know that's, again, not the case for everybody. Some people find it very challenging and they feel like it would be easier if they were alone. And that's totally valid as well. But I personally found it a lot easier to choose raw when there were other people around. When I was alone, I didn't choose otherwise, but I noticed that it was a little bit more challenging because I could eat whatever I wanted and no one was watching. I could eat a bag of chips if I wanted. No one would ever know except for me. So I could do that. And I noticed that within myself when I was single, living by myself. I noticed that it was a lot more challenging when there weren't other people around watching what I was doing. So of course, I still chose raw, but there was always that like, well, you could eat whatever. No one's going to see. No one's ever going to know. So I found that very interesting because once I was by myself and alone, that's when I noticed. And I was like, this is interesting because I always thought it would be way easier when you're by yourself and but it is because you can choose anything you want and you would choose raw, right? But because you can choose anything you want, there's a lot more options, right? So that's my thoughts on it. And now again, obviously this is not a blanket statement for everybody, but speaking with hundreds, if not thousands of people, I have noticed that it is easier when people have a schedule, when they have others to be accountable to, when it's not just them alone in the dark, when they can eat a bag of chips and no one will ever know. So these are things to keep in mind when you're looking outside and you're like, oh, it would be so much easier if I worked from home, if my family ate the same way, blah, 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 all this stuff. And granted, it may be, but more likely than not, you're still going to have those challenges because you have not changed your foundational habits yet. Work on that and it'll be easier in any situation. It'll be easier when you're at home. It'll be easier if you're at work. It'll be easier with family and friends. It'll be easier because you change the foundation of your daily habits and the things that you choose every day have become your new reality. It's your choices every day that make it easier because it's going to be challenging no matter what. There's always something that is going to be a justification to do things that we used to be doing in the past, going back to our older habits. There's always going to be a reason. So we got to keep choosing that regardless of our situation. So hopefully that helped somebody out there who's struggling, who thinks it will be easier. But it may not be easier. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You got to water your own grass, right? To make your grass green. So water your grass in whatever situation you're in. If you think it'll be easier to work from home, start working on planning your meals for your job and work on that because that's what's going to make it easier. So then if you do end up having to work on your own, you already have those habits in place. You already have a scheduled lunch break. You already make your food in the morning. You already have those habits in place. So when you do work from home, you are more likely to succeed in that as well. So any situation, you can make it work if you really want it to. So thank you so much for joining today. You have 1 day left to get the bundle. It ends tomorrow. This is your last chance to grab it and enjoy all the brand new content from all of us here at the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It's all raw. It's all oil-free, it's all brand new, and it's all yours for $50. Just head on down to the link in the description box below and grab the bundle before it's over. And then you have until June 30th to download the content. So once you buy the bundle, download the content onto your device, take 5 or 10 minutes and do that. Then you have that content forever. So don't miss out on that. Make sure that you download the content. It's super important. So go do that right now before you can't do it after tomorrow. The link is in the description box below. Thank you so much again for joining me. Tomorrow's the last day of lives, the last day of this opportunity. So we will be back for one more video for the bundle. Hope to see you then. Until then, fruit on, and I love you.